So that's how that works. God damn it, I'm stupid. Oh. So that's how that works. God damn it, I'm stupid. Okay, I'm glad we agree. Anyway, we're going over land today. So that's how that works. God damn it, I'm stupid. Okay, I'm glad we agree. Anyway, we're going over land today. Yeah, we're going over land today, and it's gonna be fun. Let me just find it really quick. I think I have a PDF stashed somewhere around here. Yeah. Oh, the Dark Enlightenment. There we go. Pick up where you left off. I don't wanna. The Dark Enlightenment by the Nick Land. Not now. Fuck off. Yeah. Um, that's the one. How does that look on stream? The Dark Enlightenment by the Nick Land. Not now. Fuck off. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna remove my avatar. Avatar, just because it's yeah, seems a bit redundant. Am I right? How the fuck do I see current viewers? Oh, there we go. Give me a second. Hold on. That's yeah, seems a bit redundant. Am I right? Yeah. You're out. Sure, you want to remove image? Yes, I do. It's probably gonna cause a bit redundant. Am I right? Yeah. You're out. Sure, you want to remove image? Yes, I do. It's probably gonna cause a bit redundant. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess we'll just wait for. Ack to get in. Until then, you can watch something short, I guess. Oh, Sunday's live as well. Great. Um, Rezzy's live too. The Brittany Simon handbook. Okay, cool. Yeah, my PC's a bit loud. Let me see. Just how much FPS are we using? Wait a minute. Oh, 17%. I mean, that's okay, I guess. Given the circumstances, that's the best we can do, right? Oh my god. Okay. Gotta be on the stream stage. Jesus. What was that video I wanted us to look at? Specifically in the waiting phase, like in the waiting room and shit. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, dog. Okay. Sure. Quality. We're gonna put it at 360 but like constantly.
It's easy to forget the Castlevania collections from the non-gambling sector of the gaming market. We've gotten multiple Castlevania collections and the first volume of a Metal Gear Solid Definitive Collection that packs in a surprising amount of extra material, plus last year's Silent Hill 2 remake and the forthcoming Snake Eater remake. One property that it's easy to forget the company controls, though, is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game in both physical and video game form. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gone through a lot of changes in its over.
Okay, I hope I'm as loud, like at least as loud as the thing. Okay, that's cool. We're good.
25-year history now, but you might be surprised to learn that the video games actually predate the physical card game, sort of. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection gathers up roughly the first.
It's not sort of, I mean, it's true, right?
Franchise, but to say these games evolved is something of an understatement. The games collected are the 4 Duel Monsters titles for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, the 5 roughly annual Game Boy Advance games, the Eternal Duelist's Soul, the Sacred Cards, Reshef of Destruction, Stairway to the Destined Duel, World Championship 2004, and 7 Trials to Glory, World Championship 2005, as well as spin-off titles Monster Capsule, Dungeon Dice Monsters, and the Destiny Board Traveler. It's a pretty comprehensive list, though it does notably omit the console titles from the era, none of which use the standard rules, those being Forbidden Memories for the PlayStation, Duelists of the Roses and Capsule Monster Coliseum on PlayStation 2, and the Falsebound Kingdom for the GameCube. The Early Days collection also includes Duel Monsters 6 for the Game Boy Advance, but I'm not really sure why it's present, as it has been left untranslated. I think this is a pretty questionable decision, but there's so much other content that I'm not going to be factoring this into my score, and instead just treating it as a neat extra. The 4 Duel Monsters titles for the Game Boy and Color, including Dark Duel Stories, the only one to have originally been localized in English, are worth discussing as their own group, as they use a pre-official set of rules. This version of the game somewhat resembles the real game.
Yeah, there was like a bunch of shit where a bunch of shit regarding archetypes, right? It was like almost as if you're playing like as if you're like constantly. I feel like it was kind of the thing with Reshef, at least, where attributes were almost as important as like actual stats of the cards. And it was weird just because it reminded me of Capsule Monsters Coliseum, right? That's I feel like that's the game where archetypes were important.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's happening?
Nothing really. I'm just chilling.
Are you chilling by yourself or by the chat?
Why would I be on the stream stage if I was chilling by myself? Is it? Why would I do that? If there was no chat involved, why would I do that?
Maybe because you don't care about labels and you're a free thinker.
No, I am a free thinker, but there's a time and place for stuff. You know what I mean?
You're a free thinker, but you're still bound by the same chains as the rest of us.
True. That was what I was gonna say. Um,
I stole it right out of your mouth. I know.
awesome,
Um,
awesome.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get some tea because I just ate a sandwich that had a lot of garlic powder in it, and
Okay,
my mouth feels disgusting. So I'll be right back.
sure.
Also, you're on YouTube, right?
Yep.
Bing bing.
I figured out how to schedule a stream also, which is great.
Uh, yeah, I've read it. Oh, you mean like schedule? Okay.
No, I mean schedule in terms of like
Like it starts when you set it up,
yep,
basically.
yep.
Yeah.
I should make like a short video or something like that where I like a loopy kind of thing which goes on as soon as you like instead of just looking at the
At the countdown,
thumbnail.
you look at the looping thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a screensaver or something like that. That would be kind of fun.
Anyway, I'll be right back.
Sure. Go ahead.
Including sharing many cards, but the player is only able to play one card of any type per turn, and there is a type advantage system that did not make its way into the real game. These titles are a neat inclusion, but they're also pretty unforgivingly janky to play now with the design limitations of their original hardware. The only reason I would see these having any appeal in comparison to the GBA titles is that the card art is all real, hand-drawn pixel art that recreates the original style in an admirably readable fashion. It's cool to see classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Art in this format, as it puts on display the actual effort that
Also, these games, like in terms of UI and how like the graphics, they're awful. Like I get it, it's very nostalgic. The whole point of the collection is the nostalgia and like the cashing in on that. But come on, like sure the art is present in these games, but not to the same degree as like the later titles like Tag Force onwards, basically.
went into these
All of it
games.
is also visible from the gameplay, and not sure why is that like the a point of debate, like at all.
The Eternal Duelist Soul has a nostalgic value to myself and many other people I know, having been the first game to use the real game's original rules, which neatly coincided with the beloved Battle City arc of the original anime being dubbed around the same time. While this title lacks the pixel art recreations that the Game Boy titles had, it makes up for it by dramatically increasing the card pool and significantly improving the presentation. This 24-year-old game established the framework that Konami still uses for Master Duel, and despite having neither a story nor a real tutorial, this being back in the day, the instructions were in a physical booklet that came with the game, it's still extremely playable today. The two games that follow are a duology that
I think all of these should be extremely playable today.
remains fairly
Wasn't
polarizing
that the whole
among
point?
fans of the classic game. The Sacred Cards and Reshef of Destruction have full-scale story modes, which is cool, but they inexplicably revert to Duel Monsters era rules, which is less so. The Sacred Cards effectively adapts the previously mentioned Battle City story from the anime, but with the player character taking Yugi's place. And Reshef of Destruction is a sequel with similar rules, but which takes place after the anime's third season, also known as the Virtual World arc. If you're looking for a grander experience and are willing to put up with the strange rules, they are significantly more playable than the color titles, but be prepared for an absolutely legendary difficulty curve in the second title. The last three major entries are the annual World Championship Tournament titles. Stairway to the Destined Duel returned things back to the traditional rules with a re-adaptation of Battle City, World Championship 2004 goes back to the format of picking opponents from lists, and Seven Trials to Glory features the final updated set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards on the Game Boy Advance, with the series jumping to Nintendo DS and PSP afterward. It is worth noting that while the first two of these games use the same play visuals as the Eternal Duelist Soul, which works very well and looks pretty elegant for the time, Seven Trials to Glory jumps to a whole new playfield and it looks exceptionally more dated in comparison. It speeds up gameplay slightly, but at the cost of a detailless black and white void instead of an easily read playmat, and I really don't think the trade-off is worth it, particularly not when being played on a larger screen than the original GBA. Going back to the Game Boy, Capsule Monster GB is a tactical strategy game that sees you deploying pieces that gain experience as you move them across the board and use their powers to strike at opponents. I can imagine this being neat at the time, but it's just a bit too simplistic and hard to parse now with the limited amounts of available text and screen real estate, and if these console games ever get the remaster treatment, we'll get a better version of this in Capsule Monster Coliseum. The final game in the collection is Dungeon Dice Monsters for the GBA. This one adapts classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards into a totally new game that has the player and their opponent constructing a playfield out of the shells of their summoned monsters, which have to be rolled as dice before being brought to the field. It's a little hard to grasp, but it is a surprisingly deep and interesting title that I'm really shocked hasn't been readapted at some point, as it's a common feature request for games like Master Duel. It might look complicated, but there's a decent amount to dig into with this one. Oh, and then there's Destiny Board Traveler. I'm skipping this one, and frankly, you should too if you value your time and sanity. The set also
Yeah,
comes
that
at
one
launch with digital
was
art books and
not
game
as good.
pieces, the ability to change between all the international versions of each title, GameShark-esque cheats that can be applied in the launch menu to unlock every card in each game, and the typical fast-forward, rewind, and save state features that tend to come with these retro collections. In terms of game preservation, Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection is a valuable effort that seeks to accurately re-release a large collection of easily forgotten titles from the dawn of its beloved card game. But in terms of gameplay, unless you're really clamoring for old-school or even pre-release Yu-Gi-Oh!, I can't really say there's a ton on offer that's really worth getting into. The Game Boy Color games really are best treated as a collection of very cool pixel art. Most of the GBA games are more or less the same game, and the two that aren't use a completely different rule set. And that's without considering the elephant in the room, which is the frankly absurd $50 price tag being asked for this collection. $50 for 14 games sounds reasonable on paper, but these are mostly not narrative-driven experiences that players would be likely to finish. In fact, I'd guess anyone picking up this collection is only interested in a small handful of the games that they'll be spending most of their time in, and that really needs to be considered. Only one of the games even features
Why should anyone consider that though? I mean, it's all fact, but why? Why? What's the big idea? Like, the old player base is going to. I mean, of course, it's going to be very circular in that people are going to play like 5 games out of the 15 that are available. Yeah, sure, but it is reasonable to ask for them to buy the whole thing, because that's kind of the point. Like, the curation is what gave birth to the collection itself, not player demand. There is no real demand behind like a collection such as this one, where you get like 15 titles that are very capable of being alternatively found, right? It's just like, why? Why even bitch about this?
online play at launch, and it's one of the Game Boy Color titles that don't use the real game rules. My hope is that following this early days collection, Konami will see fit to release more of the series' stranger entries, and also the excellent Tag Force PSP games, but this particular set feels somewhat redundant when Legacy of the Duelist is available on all the same platforms. It's a nice novelty, but it's not much more than that. Noisy Pixel is giving
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that's
Early
the
Days
point.
collection a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.
All right. Just a bunch of bitching and moaning. I'm not really a fan of that myself, but you know, to each their own, I guess. Who cares? Wait a minute, I have to get me my coffee. Jesus. Okay. Um. You know, to each their own, I guess. Okay, I was just checking the audio real quick. Oh, so that's how this works. All right, sure. Yeah, so like I said, um, Dylan's live as well. Feel them coming back. Probably gonna get too banged up on caffeine or some.
Yo, I'm back.
Yeah, I can tell.
What?
As soon as you enter your room, I can feel the squeaking and the squealing and all that.
That's my brain trying to work.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday I was like, holy fucking shit. I remember someone was talking. You were getting a sandwich or something. It was pretty
Huh.
late at night, and someone was talking so loudly at your place. It was unbearable. I had to
Oh.
lower your volume.
Yeah, my family is loud as shit.
Mm. I mean, I was just amazed. Like, I understand the setup of your house. I don't understand the setup of your microphone, speakers, headphones, whatever the fuck you got going on.
I mean, you know where my computer is in my room. You've been there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still phased as to how all of that is audible through headphones.
I think that is just because noise suppression works like that. Like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of auto adjusts, and if all sounds are quiet relatively, like it's gonna change, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's possibly
And
just
also,
Discord.
it's my family being loud as shit.
Oh yeah. No, I get that. They are pretty loud for someone for like a group of people that suck. You know what
High five up top.
I mean? Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's your family, but I feel like you would agree. Right?
Don't worry, I'm the only person watching the stream right now.
Sure.
Uh, what I want to say? Yeah. Anyway, it's time to get down with whatever you have open.
Yeah. I
I heard
opened.
that it's a book about being dark maga
Yeah, pretty
or
much.
something like that.
Pretty much. I mean, I wanted to, like, I had plans to go over the network state, like the main reference point for the dark gothic MAGA crowd,
Mm.
uh, back in like February or something, back when I was at my parents' house. But I can't remember why I didn't do that, so I'm probably gonna go over it in sometime in April. I think because I have to like
Uh,
mentally prepare for that shit.
yeah. Can you send me the PDF?
I mean, you got it already. It's in the Jesus Christ the reading package I sent you, if you remember.
Oh, for the yeah
Yeah,
for
for
the
the book club.
last thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. Fuck. I was looking right at it. I'm blind.
Nice. It's in the additional literature folder, I think.
Yeah. It's not there anymore because I moved it to my books folder. But yeah,
Nice.
new reactionaries head for the exit.
Are you gonna read a paragraph and then I'm gonna read a paragraph and then you're gonna read a
Well, we're just
paragraph?
gonna straight up read it.
I mean, no, not even. But like, let's at least for the first part. I feel like it's important to go paragraph by paragraph, just so
All
we can
right.
get the feel.
March 2nd, 2012. Enlightenment is not only a state but an event and a process. As the designation for a historical episode concentrated in Northern Europe during the 18th century, it is a leading candidate for the true name of modernity. capturing its origin and essence, Renaissance and Industrial Revolution are others. Between Enlightenment and Progressive Enlightenment, there is only an elusive difference, because illumination takes time and feeds in itself, because Enlightenment is self confirming. Its revelation is self-evident, and because a retrograde or reactionary Dark Enlightenment amounts almost to intrinsic contradiction. To become enlightened, in this historical sense, is to recognize and then to pursue a guiding light. There were ages of darkness, and then enlightenment came. Clearly, advance has demonstrated itself, offering not only improvement but also a model. Furthermore, unlike a Renaissance, there is no need for an enlightenment to recall what was lost, or to emphasize the attractions of return. The elementary acknowledgement of enlightenment is already Whig history in miniature. Once certain enlightened truths have been found self-evident, there can be no turning back, and conservatism is preemptively condemned, predestined to paradox. F. A. Hayek, who refused to describe himself as a conservative, famously settled instead upon the term Old Whig, which, like classical liberal, or the still more melancholy remnant, accepts that progress isn't what it used to be. What could an old Whig be, if not a reactionary progressive? And what on earth is that?
Do you remember? Like, I feel like it was. It could have been last summer, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there. We were just sitting somewhere, like having a drink or whatever, and someone pulled out a PDF of this, right? And you were like, "Why can I understand this? Like, why is it?"
It was me, I pulled it out.
Oh, cool. Anyway, the
That's
idea.
because you think that he sounds like Yarvin.
Um, no, I don't know. It feels like okay. So if because it's not like that I'm not really fully bought into the idea that this is like ghost written by Yarvin himself, but it's almost like Land did a thing where he was like, okay, Yarvin's writing is so accessible and so like uh, self-evident and kind of serves a purpose. It's not as flowery in terms of language as Land's previous writing, and not nearly as inaccessible as Land. Just because it's not as dense. Then he was like, okay, this seemingly works in that Yarvin has like a cult following of some kind, and without referencing Land like once. And then Land read that and was like, okay, cool, might do it like that. I mean, it's weird because
Yeah, but first of all,
he
yeah,
he doesn't write like this. like,
useless comment, but I think that I pulled out the Nick Land reader instead of
okay,
this back then.
okay,
And second of all, I think that this is written in a more like, I mean, if it wasn't written by Yarvin, fuck do I know? Uh, he probably sounds more elaborate and less flowery because he's been sitting around the same theory and matrix of thinking that he came up with for like 10 years.
mm-hmm,
And when a theory is new, you kind of like tend to sound more Lovecraftian or whatever.
okay.
Like I can also see that with myself. Like my current stuff is more comprehensible, not because I changed the way that I think, but because I just had so much practice writing about that thing in this way, and I just like I know when people have a harder time following me. You know.
Sure, I mean, I see what you mean, but it's not. I feel like there's a crucial difference there in that there's a difference between like when someone's in their late 30s or like mid 30s in the 1990s, and then like 12 or 13 years later they're like what, almost in their 50s, and then their writing style radically changes, as opposed to someone that's like 18 and their style of writing changes by 30. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not. Uh, it is much more expected from like people that are still developing their writing style to change their style radically as time goes on.
I mean, his life changed, his circumstances changed, probably the chemical makeup of his body.
No.
He got a family.
I mean, it's all possible.
A job somewhere where
Sure.
you're not surrounded by British people.
Nah, I mean, it's all possible. I just feel like it's too radical of a change to be
If it
attributed to
happens
circumstance.
overnight, sure, but like 10 years is 10 years, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
how old you are. And
Oh,
also,
true.
like the world changes, and some of the stuff that Land was referencing, like got actually defined and manifested
Mm-hmm.
in real life, and became extremely popular. So he cannot like aestheticize and miraculize everything that he thinks about because some of that shit is real at this point, and like it's mundane, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, no, true. All of it's facts. No. Anyway, he says as follows. Of course, plenty of people already think they know what reactionary modernism looks like. And amidst the current collapse back into the 1930s, their concerns are only likely to grow. Basically, it's what the F word is for, or at least in its progressive usage. A flight from democracy under these circumstances conforms so perfectly to expectations that it eludes specific recognition, appearing merely as an atavism,
Atavism, atavism.
or confirmation of dire repetition. Still, something is happening, and it is, at least in part, something else. What a what a wonderful sentence. Something is happening, and that something is something else. Okay, genius.
Poetry.
One milestone was the April 2009 discussion hosted at Cato Unbound among libertarian thinkers, including Perry Friedman and Peter Thiel, in which disillusionment with the direction and possibilities of democratic politics was expressed with unusual forthsightedness. Thiel summarized the trend bluntly. Quote, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. Should I look at? Wait a minute, let me open link in a new tab. Cato Unbound. From scratch, libertarian institutions and communities. Okay. This I can tell just by the website design alone. This this sucks so bad. Cato Unbound, a journal of debate. Okay. Uh,
The
great.
bad.
Great. Teal summarized the trend bluntly. Open link in new window. Why is it not? Oh. Also, Teal wrote for a journal of debate. Okay. Stupid.
As one does.
Yeah. In August 2011, Michael Lind posted a Democratic repost at Salon, digging up some impressively melodious, mel, melod, Jesus, how the fuck do you pronounce this? Melodrous dirt, and concluding,
Average person that average person that criticizes Dark Enlightenment. Am I right?
and concluding, the dread of democracy by libertarians and classical liberals is justified. Libertarianism really is incompatible with democracy. Most libertarians have made it clear which of the two they prefer. The only question that remains to be settled is why anyone should pay attention to libertarians. Wonderful. Lind and the neo reactionaries seem to be in broad agreement that democracy is not only or even a system, but rather a vector with an unmistakable direction. Democracy and, quote, progressive democracy are synonymous and indistinguishable from the expansion of the state, whilst, quote, extreme right wing governments have, on rare occasions, monetarily arrested this process. Its reversal lies beyond the boards of democratic possibility, the bounds of democratic possibility. Since winning elections is overwhelmingly a matter of vote buying and society's informational organs, parentheses, education and media, are no more resistant to bribery than the electorate, a thrifty politician is simply an incompetent politician, and the democratic variant of Dar- Darwinism quickly eliminates such misfits from the gene pool. This is a this is a reality that the left applauds, the establishment right grumpily accepts, and the libertarian right has inefficiently railed against. Increasingly, however, libertarians have ceased to care whether anyone is, quote, paying them attention. They have been looking for something else entirely, an exit. Okay, we're getting firmly into this paragraph, at least like in style and uh, just like how lucid it is. I feel like it's a bit different than the ones before. This is starting to
There's a lot
sound
of
like
there's a lot of self evidence and arrogance, but like the bad kind in this writing. Like
okay.
it's like you know a boomer sitting like drinking beer with his friends
Uh huh.
and thinking that no one is listening, so he can say whatever.
Uh
And
huh.
he's like, yeah, so like females, right? They're like naturally predisposed to cooking soups, right? While males they grill more, and like that's just how nature works. It's the nature of things. We all know that. Like it's obvious. We all know that. Like it just sounds like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, compared to fucking. Uh, okay, let's look at Thirst for Annihilation real quick, just to compare, right? Compare this to fucking. Oh, I can't click on the the things. Oh Jesus. Okay. Compare this to fucking Kant's critical philosophy is the most elaborate fit of panic in the history of the earth. It's more brutish and even more consequential. Ancestor was Luther's hysterical reaction to the
They have
disintegration.
they have daily sex here.
Deadly sexy, I am. I'm suffering from that. Um, no, I legit don't see shit anymore. The critical
Damn, bro.
philosophy exposes quote truths of reason as fictions. Like compare this to this type of fucking boomer uh, coded whining. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
in his previous writing, he was just like, uh, I mean, a bit more assertive. I mean, a lot more assertive, I should say, than here.
No, I mean
Here,
he is also just as much assertive as just that things that he things that he insists on are just like not out there anymore.
whiny. Yeah.
Yeah, like not even whiny. Like that's a like I feel like I'm reading Duggan right now.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say. I feel like it to some extent this should hit home to you pretty much because it's fucking Jesus.
Like at this point, it wasn't ghostwritten by Yarvin. It was Duggan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that kind of. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Honestly.
Niklan told Duggan to write a book for him. He got 300 pages, cut out everything that mentioned Russia and the new world chaos order, and got these 100 pages.
I mean, what? Behemoth and Leviathan, the fascist bestiary of the alt-right. There's a
Huh?
there's a I just pulled up an article on salvage dot zone uh,
Hmm.
that mentioned both Dugin and Land. Today, the traditionalist philosopher Alexander Dugin and the neo-reactionary philosopher Nick Land are the standard beavers of Behemoth and Leviathan, respectively. They are also the conduits by which these animal spirits have entered the 21st century alt-right imagination. It is for this reason that the alt-right mind is such a conflicted, contradictory thing. It is not that most reactionaries today engage much with Dugin and Land's texts, let alone Carl Schmitt's. But the seemingly opposed, I mean, that's just false. I feel like the alt right engages with Schmidt quite a bit. But the seemingly opposed worldviews of Land and Dugin the very the very ether within which the alt right thought is steeped. Okay, cool. How are Land and Dugin opposed exactly? In I mean today.
I mean, similarly opposed because Dogen is like a traditionalist and Lan is supposed to be, uh, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever
sure,
the fuck he is
sure. Yeah.
on
Traditionalist,
that spectrum specifically.
traditionalist versus accelerationist, I guess. But like the
Traditionalist against someone who wants to build a new world order where he can be traditionalist.
okay, this is like okay. I'm all for what you're saying, but let's do it my way. It's like Jesus,
Yeah,
Jesus. These
we're all
guys are
for
dumb.
what you're saying, but I don't like the aesthetics. So instead of Dark Academia, we're gonna be Cyberpunk.
Jesus, these guys are dumb. Like I don't know. All of it feels very. It's not even doomerism, man. It's just like let's let's have a future where we're like doing the things exactly as we're doing them right now, but let's make them infinitely lamer. It, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you're not a cause for anything anymore, but you're just a symptom, and you just like don't know how to behave.
Yeah.
I think. Like Dugin also had some other ideas in the 90s, but right now he has everything that you could generate
Mm.
by asking chat to be insufferable.
Sure. No. I see what you mean. Definitely, because it's like, and even more like frustrating about this whole thing is that it's not even good. Like none of this is good writing, mind you. None of this is like
Isn't isn't like right wing good writing a myth?
um I mean Land's earlier works were much more
Yeah, but he wasn't
lucid.
right wing.
And I mean if you ask him, he was
We're
anything
reading him
but.
right now, and we're busy talking about how washed out he is.
No, true, but like if the man himself says he was never left wing, are we really gonna point the
Doesn't
finger
have
and
to
be
be.
like,
He doesn't have to be left wing to not be right wing. Doesn't have to be a centrist either.
oh, sure. Okay, if you look at it like that, then yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just like he hung around a lot of radical lefties
Yeah,
back in the day.
I mean, back in the day, he was uh, if not explicitly, then implicitly talking about how the right-left thing is like gonna get outdated,
Yeah.
and like it already is. So you know,
Yep. And well, yeah. I mean, a lot of the heady kind of more emancipatory writing that he was doing in the '90s was left wing in that it was so anti right wing traditionalism that it ended up being very left wing, right? I,
pretty much, yeah.
I, I just I'm just raising a question of intent. Like, did he meant for it to be read like that or
I mean,
uh,
does it matter?
no, it doesn't. I'm just asking a meaningless question. It's not.
I mean, we're talking not about the authors, but the impact that their stuff had, pretty much,
No.
and like who reads that. So,
Uh-huh. No, sure. I agree 100%. It's it's just funny to me how regardless of where you are in life and what your kind of situation is, what you're gonna get from these guys is not. At this point, I feel like what you're gonna get from land is the same shit you're gonna get from Teal, and what you're gonna
Yeah.
get from Teal, you're gonna get from Yarvin as well. So it's not even like a think tank that is able to be like diversely right wing. It's just right wing, and it's an echo chamber basically.
Land is just not physically and mentally in a place where he would write something smart at this point,
Oh, true.
and he hasn't been there for a while.
True. I mean, a lot of his. I feel like this should be before. This should fall before Dark Enlightenment on the timeline. Wait a minute, let me look this up real quick.
What exactly?
That one article he had, critique of transcendental miserabilism, something like that.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, abstract dynamics. The site can't be reached. Why? Why?
Wait, I got a Fangnomen open. I think there's there. Give me a second.
Yeah, it should be. I found a link that led to Urbanomic. Oh,
Mm,
oh.
what?
If we want to engage with the material, this is what we can do. Wait a minute. I'm gonna
You
send.
disappeared. You disappeared for a second. What?
If we're gonna engage with this material, this is what we can do. I'm gonna send you a link real quick. Give me a second. What?
Okay, I found it.
Let me.
You got a PDF of Fangnumina?
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna send you a link. Give me a second. Not of that, but something else.
Uh-huh.
I'm just loading up the watch together room. Oh Jesus.
Fangmanamana.
Mana. No mana. There you go. Close. How does this work again? I completely forgot what I'm supposed to do with this. Why is it doing that? Oh my god. Why? Why is it doing that? Dog,
Doing what?
fuck off. You're in, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, how do I add links to this? Oh my god.
That thing on the top that looks like search bar.
Yeah. I
You
know.
paste the link there.
I know. I'm just supposed to find it, and I can't find it because this. Wait a minute. I'm gonna link.
What are you trying to find?
Yeah, the thing. It looked.
I'm gonna. What?
Oh, it's down there.
You
Okay.
disappeared.
Cool. Am I?
You're
can hear-
cutting out like a bitch, man.
Why? You can hear me, right?
I don't know. Right now I can.
Wonderful. Anyway, I found it.
Whoa.
You're gonna have to give me a second. What? Oh my god.
That poor llama, man. I haven't thought about that.
Shut the hell up.
That is incredibly cruel to the llama.
Okay,
I don't
here.
know what
I don't know. I mean,
kind of sick person you have to be to consider this funny. It's horrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
What are we doing?
there's a lot of sick people. We're watching my favorite YouTube channel.
I don't know. I mean, Nance doesn't have socials to share it out on, so I'm just gonna share it to you, Mikey.
Posting on Reddit.
Right. So like, instead of analyzing Lan's writing,
Yeah,
we can watch other people analyze it and stream it.
yeah, and
You're a genius, man.
and shit on them.
Okay.
Do I have to stay or you got it?
Why you don't want to stay?
No, I'm just I'm just asking.
Yeah, well, it's a free country.
That means I have to
So.
log into Reddit.
You're not logged into Reddit.
Um, all of them look like they're constantly logged into Reddit, so I don't believe them
Oh my god, dude.
for a second.
How is my internet so fast but taking so long? I don't.
It's your computer.
All right.
Taking so long.
I sent the link to you, Mikey. I think it is the computer. It's not the internet.
Why are we watching this?
Do you want to read the text if you don't want to watch this? I mean, sure, we can go
I
over
mean,
the thing.
I thought though this is. I thought that we were gonna do that.
You know, we're gonna do everything ever. It's a
Alright,
it's an it's a space of anarchy. Okay.
got it.
Wait a minute. I have to go pee really quick. Um, be right
Get that.
be right back. Where's the? You have been disconnected. Why was I disconnected? What? Okay. Oh, from the previous one. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, I'm gonna go pee. Be right back.
Uh
Entertain my plentiful audience. Okay.
huh.
Uh huh.
Cat, do your thing. Make me famous.
Oh my god!
Moron.
I made a grave mistake of looking into the mirror while pissing.
How do you even do that?
What do you mean?
Your mirror is like the opposite side of your toilet. Did you piss in the sink?
No, no, I haven't. I just pissed sitting down.
Oh, okay.
Why? You got a problem with that?
Only girls do that.
Gender essentialist piece of shit.
You're like a girl. Lol.
Yeah, pretty much. Um.
Ugh.
Anyway, where were we with the fucking thing? Mm, the dread of democracy by libertarians and classical liberals is justified. Libertarianism really is incompatible with democracy. Most libertarians have made it clear which of the two they prefer. Which one
Wait,
is
where's
that?
that?
It's the third paragraph, something like that.
Third paragraph of what?
Dark Enlightenment. So this is in August 2011. Michael Lind posted a Democratic repost at Salon, digging up
Oh,
some impressively malodorous dirt, and
you
concluding,
already read that?
"Oh, I have."
Yeah.
Okay,
We're currently on a next page. It is a structural inevitability that the libertarian voice is drowned out in democracy, and according to Lind, it should be. Even more libertarians are likely to agree. Quote unquote voice is democracy itself in its historically dominant Rousseauistic strain. It models the state as a representation of popular will, and making oneself heard means more politics. If voting as the mass self expression of politically empowered peoples is a nightmare engulfing the world, adding to the hubbub doesn't help. Even more than equality versus liberty, voice versus exit is the rising alternative, and libertarians are opting for voiceless flight. Patrick Friedman remarks, "We think that free exit is so important that we've called it the only universal human right. For the hardcore neo-reactionaries, democracy is not merely doomed, it is doom itself. Fleeing it approaches an ultimate imperative. The subterranean current that propels such anti-politics is recognizably Hobbesian, a coherent dark enlightenment, devoid from its beginning of any Rousseauistic enthusiasm for popular expression. Predisposed, in any case, to perceive the politically awakened masses as a howling irrational mob, it conceives the dynamics of democratization as fundamentally degenerative, systematically consolidating and exacerbating private vices, resentments, and deficiencies until they reach the level of collective criminality and comprehensive social corruption. The democratic politician and the electorate are bound together by a circuit of reciprocal incitement, in which each side drives the other to ever more shameless Jesus Christ, extremities of hooting, prancing cannibalism until the only alternative to shouting is being eaten.
nice.
Where the progressive enlightenment sees political ideas, the dark enlightenment sees appetites. It accepts that governments are made out of people and that they will eat well. Setting its expectations as low as reasonably possible, it seeks only to spare civilization from frenzied, ruinous, gluttonous debauch. From Thomas Hobbes to Hans Hermann Hoppe and beyond, it asks, how can the sovereign power be prevented, or at least dissuaded, from devouring society? It consistently finds democratic solutions to this problem risible at best.
Hoppe
Um,
and Jesus, why did he quote?
what?
This citation list is worrisome, right? Even for even for land, right? Because at the point of this coming out, or like at a point where when these blog posts were coming out, he wasn't outed. Like this was the book that propelled him as like propelled him to being this neo-reactionary overlord of whatever, right? Up until that point, he wasn't known as the guy that would quote Hoppe out of nowhere, and Hobbes as well. Like I don't know, it's all low hanging fruit. Honestly, that's what I've been thinking when I was going over the book uh, these days because it was just like it's depressing.
I feel
To
like him using the word enlightenment and basing the entire thing around it feels as clumsy as Zizek never shutting up about Christian atheism. Like, it's just you're using the word because there's some slight resemblance in the narratives,
hmm
and you're like, hell yeah, let's base an entire, you know, movement around the shitpost. Well, you're not the type of person to shitpost for the sake of it, you know?
sure, but I feel like the crucial difference here is that Zizek doesn't really see the point of Christian atheism beyond the fact that it's a silly neologism. So just a combination of words that don't a combination of words that don't really go together. They're detrimental to one another. But whereas land, I think if you would ask him if this is like a real thing, he would actually, very much be in favor of using uh, this combination of words, and that like this is like a darkened, like a genuinely darkened enlightenment, or like it's opposite, I guess.
I mean, if I got it correctly, uh, yeah, he's saying that it's enlightenment pretty much, pretty much because like before enlightenment there were like dark times,
Mm-hmm.
and now everyone escapes from that and makes better times, which is like a narrative which could be like literally anything, you know?
Wait,
Like
what
yeah,
do you?
he dragged Hobbes into it and Rousseau into it, but philosophy in general, like when someone is that old and that like read among all people,
Mm-hmm.
like it's impossible to not be Hobbesian and Rousseauistic. Like everything is like that at this point. It's like either that or post that.
Oh my god, I found it. I found the meme.
It was friendship all along.
Wait, I found the meme. I'll post it in stream chat. Uh, can I do that? No, I can't because it's a
What?
photo. God damn it! Here you go. You got
What do
it.
you mean?
This is the book in a single pic.
Hard times, strong man. Good times, weak man.
This is
Man,
his
whatever.
disposition while writing the book.
I mean, yeah, like he just was like Yarvin already wrote everything that he wrote when this was released, right?
Yeah,
So it's just like more yapping about how cool it would be to buy an island,
yeah, pretty much.
basically.
It's even worse. I think it's like, oh, look at those people that are actually buying the islands. They're so cool. Like it wasn't even like oh my god, like it would really slap if I actually bought an island of my own. It's not even that. It's just like, oh, look at look at Teal. He's so cool. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, guys, he's so cool. Like,
it might be a symptom of him like living in China, because like in there the conformist shit and the rebellious shit it's kind of mixed up.
in what
Like
way?
people that have like people that call themselves right wing in China
Hmm.
are more often like they often have the same mindset as people that call themselves left wing out here.
Okay.
Like you're just anti-authority, and you got your ideas about like people organizing and helping minorities that the state doesn't help, and like what you would call yourself in China when you do that is either right wing or centrist or whatever, because like you don't really get to call yourself a leftist or a communist in there without being associated with the most popular leftists around that like
Uh huh.
own you, you know?
Oh, so you would argue it's kind of reverse.
I mean, it's not like him being integrated into China at this point, but I think that it is him like existing in that environment,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his previous ideas and influences from outside of China being like kind of mis whatever warped is
Misconstrued.
the word,
Yeah.
warped by the environment in which he exists, and like probably Chinese people that speak to him about everything. Like he just it's kind of like me and the Russian problems, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I look at that and I'm like, oh, so you guys want to side with a billionaire to be against Putin? Why would you do that? While in Russia it makes perfect sense.
Sure. I mean, I understand that. Like, I get it. It kind of depends on the domicile context and like people who are just this viewing this space from like outside of it.
Yeah,
That would create like differences in perspective for sure. It's just that when you look at this, like all of this, it's very depressing. Like if you if you've read like Land's previous stuff at that point, I feel like that would be this would be the book that would distance you from that. Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, also another thing that I'm remembering when it
mm-hmm,
comes like straight up to Silicon Valley shit,
mm-hmm,
you don't even have to go as far as China to see that. Like Russians were very late on the Musk hate train.
okay,
Like when I started doing the stupid shit, they were like, "Yeah, okay, it is wacky, but for Americans, but like I would be okay with the fact like I would be okay with him helping Ukrainians by
uh
sending
huh,
Starlink in there and shit like that.
okay,
And like I wouldn't call people that would go to Mars because of him idiots, you know?
uh huh.
Like that was the Russian discourse like a year ago, pretty much.
Oh,
Like they're only hating on him as much as everyone else right now when it's like extremely cartoonishly obvious, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. It's impossible to avoid the stupidity at this point. Essentially, it's like
Yeah,
you can't even ignore it, like because
basically.
it got so ingrained in like everyday politics that you can't even look at this guy like, oh, here's someone who owns Starlink and wants to like populate and colonize Mars. You
I
guys
mean,
remember that?
also Americans like I mean their administration is turning on Ukrainians as well, so that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. Um,
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that land is in order to be like critical and on point and not dumb, you have to live in the environment for which you write, you know.
mm-hmm.
And like land, he doesn't do that. That is one of the primary reasons why he is like that right now. I think
Mm-hmm. Well,
like he's dabbling and mingling in Silicon Valley while living in Shanghai and working
yeah,
there as well.
yeah. No, I get that. It's just weird because when you look at like the second chapter, for instance, it literally starts with him quoting David Graeber, right?
Hmm.
It strikes me that if one is going to pursue this to its logical conclusion, the only way to have a genuinely democratic society would also be to abolish capitalism in this state. And then he quotes Marina Citrin. We can't have democracy with capitalism. Democracy and capitalism don't work together. It's like, and then after all that, quotes Yarvin. So it reads, in some aspects, like in terms of the bibliography of this shit, it reads even more schizo than some of his previous writings, because they were like previously it was philosophically dense. This is just dense with
Just dense.
opposites.
It's
Like
just dense.
yeah, and it tries so hard to be more than it is. In that, oh my god, guys, look at me being able to quote anarchists, centrists, and I don't know, pseudo intellectual monarchy fetishists all in the same paragraph. I'm so cool, guys. Look at this.
Neo cameras or something. I don't know. I didn't attend photography classes.
Yeah, pretty much. Most people, including most Americans, would be surprised to learn that the word democracy does not appear in the Declaration of Independence 1776. For real? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta look this up.
Where's that?
That second chapter. The beginning of the second chapter. Uh, Declaration of Independence, 1776. PDF. Wait. Oh my god. Oh no. Wait a minute. I can just do this. Okay, so we're searching for Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's yeah. The word democracy isn't mentioned once in the Declaration of Independence.
Damn.
Once. This is the most anti-American, not even anti-American, it's just like the most anti-stereotypical American document written by stereotypical Americans. Oh my
Yep.
fucking god. Wacky. Wacky fucking country. Yeah, how
One more
about
content.
yeah, no, I was just saying that this is very regardless of what you find here, it's very depressing. At least for me. Like I don't every time I come back to this, like with time it became uh less fun to come back to this book, actually. And the fact that it's still being reprinted to this day, it's just disheartening to say the least.
Never meet your heroes or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I never follow them up close actually, because it's like that's what's annoying about this. Speaking to him directly would be fun, I think, right? Um, because I feel
I got a
like
new client at home.
yeah, in my book drawer. It's like yeah, no, I feel like speaking to him directly would be kind of fun, but just just consuming his stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, on that fucking note, um, if someone is gonna be watching this in the near future, uh, I'll probably be doing some abridged versions of stuff we're gonna go over in our book club. The thing itself isn't gonna be streamed or recorded, but I'm gonna be presenting my notes in a comprehensible quote unquote kind of way. Mm, if anyone cares about that stuff. If not, then who gives a fuck? Anyhow, this has been us going through the emotions of depression, and I feel like my internet's gonna die if I keep streaming. So I feel like we're gonna have to cut it short, sadly. Um, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, this is gonna be uploaded as a VOD. It's gonna be unlisted, but it's in the playlist regardless.